Hey, welcome into the Stinkin Truth Podcast alongside Mike Evans. I am Mark Schlereth. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Mike, my friend, how are you doing and what's going on, buddy?
Well, the NFL, man, it was always my theory that the reason why NFL teams do OTAs and mini camps, spring and summer camps, is just so that they can get their players back into the building and back under their thumb, because too much idle time for these NFL guys seems to lead to some trouble. Step forward, Stefon Diggs. So he's back in hot water now after a video surfaced with him on a boat with 3 women and an unspecified pink substance. Mike Vrabel already dealing with a Stefon Diggs headache.
You didn't learn anything from the Giants and their boat escapades. Here's the deal with Stefon Diggs is this. To me, hey man, you're young, you got a lot of money, you're out there doing your thing. I get that aspect of it, right? Off season, all those different things. But you just failed an intelligence test. How are you letting people record you while you're being an idiot? How in the world are you letting that happen? So that part to me is mind-boggling. And who would have thought something could have gone awry since he started dating? Who's the rap artist? Who's the rap artist girl that he is, the gal that he is dating? Who is she's a super big star. Well, I can't ever remember anybody's. Nicki Minaj? No. Is that who it is?
Yeah, don't start guessing, because you'll just dig a deeper hole. So
yeah. So you're gonna look that up for me?
Yes, I will.
Who would have ever thought that could go wrong? Cardi B, that's who it is. Cardi B.
Yes.
Yeah. He's been with or hanging out or dating Cardi B, on a yacht, all kinds of different women. And then they're all calling him daddy.
Yes, daddy, yeah.
And my next question is Mike Vrabel addresses it. Does Mike Vrabel have to call him daddy? Maybe right. Does he have to hey, get daddy the ball, to Drake May in the huddle? Hey man, make sure you get daddy the ball in this position.
By the way, if you were a teammate of Stefon Diggs, how relentless would you be on him with the daddy jokes and the?
Oh, I'd be killing him. Everything, his locker. First off, you know me, I'm the first guy in the building, so
right.
The name tag would automatically be changed. It would just be daddy. As soon as he got the name tag in the locker, it'd just be daddy. Yeah, and then certainly would go after Stefon Diggs. Listen, you failed the intelligence test. That's number one. And number two, man, everywhere you go, you've worn out your welcome. And, Houston, by all accounts, he was a model citizen last year, but he had the 1-year deal in Houston. And, he tears his ACL, and it's not like they were fighting to bring him back.
Right.
I know in Minnesota they had, he was unbelievably productive, and they said, we had enough of your shit. In Buffalo, you can say whatever you want. Everybody on the way out said, hey, man, great. But Buffalo ate a bunch of money to get rid of the guy. At some point, and at some point, you'll get to that point where your production doesn't outweigh the pain in the ass that you are. And eventually, once you hit that spot, then you're going to find yourself out of work. So we'll see. And, hopefully he goes into New England as a model citizen and plays his ass off and does all those things. But, man, this is a bad way to start.
I guess it also speaks to New England's desperation to try to get anybody in there that they can to try to help Drake May, who I know you're a Drake May fan, but, the wide receiver room there is pretty thin. And so, they had to kind of roll the dice with Stefon Diggs and hope for the best.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, man, again, if you're talking about 1-year deals or prove it deals, and I don't know how long the deal he signed.
It's basically a 1-year deal. Yeah.
So you're expecting to get the guy on his best behavior to do his stuff. Hey, listen, man, from a skill standpoint, dude is freaking awesome. He's awesome. I don't know if you've ever seen the video, though, of when he was in Minnesota and they went around the locker room asking, who like with a guy that you would least like to date your sister or whatever. And it was zero hesitation. Every guy was like, Stefon Diggs, no way. Like it was hilarious how much disdain they had for him when it came to the potential of hanging out with your sister or dating your sister or whatever. So anyhow, it'll be interesting to watch because, like I said, man, and I've said this a million times, dude is unbelievably talented. Is an unbelievably good wide receiver.
Caleb Williams refuting a excerpt from a book that's come out that would indicate that both he and his father did not want Caleb to play for the Chicago Bears. He says that's not true. He's happy to be a Bear. Ben Johnson says he's working with Caleb Williams to try to improve his body language, that whenever something doesn't go well, apparently Ben Johnson feels like Caleb Williams gives off a bad vibe. You had a chance to talk to Ben Johnson. What's the latest with everything with the Bears and Caleb Williams?
Yeah, I think that if you watch the press conference yesterday, which was Wednesday, it was incredible. Like he sounds mature. He sounds like he's on top of things, right? Like he had questions about pulling an Eli Manning and not going to Chicago and all those things. And I think that has all been reported. He did that, he did that article or that book. So like all that stuff is true. But he decided to go ahead and play for Chicago. And so I think all those things, he talked about good, bad, indifferent, all the things that he went through last year, kind of that learning curve. But he sounded like the press conference was really good. He went for like 3.5 minutes before he even opened it up for questions and basically addressed all the things that were out there. So he definitely sounded like a franchise type quarterback, and I talk about this all the time, like commanding the room as a coach or as a quarterback matters. Like your ability to command a room and your ability to address the media and your ability to do those things matters, because if you can't do it in front of the media, you're certainly not going to be able to do it in front of your team meeting, right? Or in the huddle and all that kind of thing. So there is some gravitas to that, right? That stuff does matter. And like watching that press conference, and I watched the entirety of the 15-minute press conference, whatever it was, and it was impressive, man. He was really good in that. So then I reached out this morning, which is Thursday morning as we're doing this morning, I reached out and just texted Ben Johnson, go, hey man, give me some insight into, not only this press conference, but what you guys have worked on and the things that have gone on here. And so Ben got back to me this morning and was like, hey, listen, man, he has worked his ass off. As a matter of fact, I'll just tell you what Ben said to me, which I think is, and I asked him, I said, listen, man, give me some stuff from a television standpoint.
This is on the record stuff.
All right. So worked his ass off, is definitely learning, receptive to any and all coaching. All right. So all those things to me are good things. They said we've highlighted several areas of improvement that he needs to focus on off of last year. Okay. Beyond just learning the playbook, because it's a new playbook, right? He goes from speeding up his pre-snap procedure. And so I think when you break the huddle, Mike, we're all, as players, right, we're all taking in, as we walk up the line of scrimmage, as much information as we can take in, right? You're taking that information in, you're kind of diagnosing what you see, what they are in. So for a quarterback, it's not only reading coverage, right? It's not only reading body language of the DBs. Hey, man, do I have a DB that's on like outside, that's on an outside shade, that's taking away outside leverage, which means what? You're trying to force a guy into the middle of the football field, right, which usually is going to indicate into a post safety situation, a one high safety look, right? So you're working leverage to funnel a guy where you want him to go because you've got help there. So you're taking away that outside edge, motions, all the pre-snap stuff, but all the way down to, hey, what front are they in? Are they in an over front? Are they in an under front? Are they in an even front? Are they in an odd front? And what's the likelihood that we get? What kind of blitz do we get out of an under front versus an over front? What kind of things do they run out of these things? So speeding up that pre-snap process so you're not meandering up to the line of scrimmage without actually taking in information. You're taking in that information to understand pre-snap what they're in, and then you want a pre-snap diagnosis and then post-snap confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as we snap the ball, do they give me exactly what I thought they were going to give me? So one of the things, and one of the reasons I always talk about Brock Purdy being a top-notch quarterback is because I watch a dude that can get through a progression. I've seen him go from the front side of a progression all the way to the back side of a progression and get to the fourth option in that progression in under 2 seconds. And the only way you do that is pre-snap, you read it and you say, man, I got to eliminate this right off the bat. Based on leverage of the DB, I've eliminated that route. And then and before you even snap the ball, you've already eliminated the first 2 guys in your progression. So as soon as you snap the ball, you look at it and go, yep, I was right. Confirmation, right? I'm right. Bam, now I'm to 3, and now I'm to 4. Well, how do you get to 4 in under 2 seconds? You eliminate 1 and 2 right off the bat.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think Brock does stuff like that is just like next level neck up stuff. And so that's what he's talking about when it's eliminate, those things, have a better post-snap process, and then footwork. And one of the things you always talk about in the West Coast offense or any offense is you throw the football with your feet, right? So your feet have to time up to the timing of the route. And so every hitch gets you to the next guy. So if your progression is 1, 2, 3, when you hit the top of that drop, that's 1. He's not open, or they take the coverage takes him away. That next that hitch, I hitch up. That's the next in the progression where that guy should be coming out of his break. And that's not open. I hitch up. It's the next in progression. So how do your feet line up to your progressions? And all those things matter about getting the ball out on time. Caleb Williams took 68 sacks last year. I guarantee you he's probably going to cut that in close to half because they're going to run the ball more efficiently. They'll also run the ball in pure passing situations because Ben Johnson is the best. I mean, the best at creating a run game in pure passing down and distance situations. 3rd down and 6+, second down and 7+. He's a master at that. And a lot of times you run that stuff. It's twofold. One, you're going to get a great matchup, right? Because they're going to be playing the pass. So you're going to get a great look to run it out of. And then 2, if I'm going for it on 4th down, running on 3rd down and 6 is not a bad play. Get me to 4th down and 2, and then I can operate from there. So anyhow, those are the things that, that I talked to or texted with Ben Johnson about.
All right. That's good stuff. Good stuff there. If you're a Bears fan, if you are a Colts fan, do you find it interesting that Shane Steichen came out and said when it comes to his quarterback position, it's an open competition between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, who Stink just a couple of years ago was the 4th overall pick in the draft? Has his stock slipped so much that Daniel Jones actually could beat him out for the starting job?
If you've watched him play, yeah. I mean, but that does.
Usually there's a built-in, there's a long runway for these high picks before you're relegated to open competition, isn't it?
Dude, this is a scene directly out of Dumb and Dumber. This is Lloyd and Harry on a freaking mini bike going, I get 70 miles to the gallon on this hog, Harry. I mean, you got to be kidding me. These 2 guys. Listen, Daniel Jones is starting for the Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh, calling your shot.
Yeah, it's not a good option.
I know, but
it's not a good option. But Anthony Richardson, again, is a great athlete. A great athlete. He's a suspect at best QB. And it's interesting. I've always said this about that position. I want a quarterback that happens to be a great athlete.
Right.
I don't want a great athlete that you tried to make a quarterback. And one of the issues that you always fall into with great athletes that you tried to make a quarterback out of is their default mechanism is the neck down. Great athletes will always default into let my athletic ability take over for me and make a play. And ultimately what happens is you run yourself into harm's way. You run yourself into sacks. You run yourself into interceptions. You run yourself into bad plays. Great athletes to me, it's the great quarterbacks who default from the neck up. Great athletes always are going to default from the neck down, meaning just take over athletic ability and let me make a play. The great quarterbacks default from the neck up, and they're always going to try to make a decision, that's the best decision possible based on the information that's presented to them.
So you've done some Giants games over the last couple of years. What do you see when you look at Daniel Jones? Come on, this is a guy that was the 6th overall pick, I think, when he came out. Do you see something there that maybe now away from the pressure of New York, trying to live up to a high draft pick, that going now to a place like Indy where the pressure might be off a little bit? Is there still something there that you see that can still lead to him being a good NFL quarterback?
Daniel Jones is exceptionally athletic. He's really athletic. So there is that where you can run him a little bit and you can do some things with him. And he's pretty good at that stuff. He's got really big time arm talent and all that kind of stuff. The issue,
neck up again. We go neck up again. Same thing.
Really, the biggest issue with Daniel Jones is his propensity to lock on to one target and throw it to that guy, regardless of how good your arm talent is. When you tip a DB, one of his coaches explained it to me. He's like, he just red stripes everybody. And what that meant was, you remember the Giants have that red stripe down their helmet. It's like, and he's like, he locks on with that red stripe. And that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
And DBs see that, right? And when that's the way you operate, and then the other part of that, Mike, is being somewhat of a sight thrower. So my explanation of this is anticipatory thrower versus sight thrower.
Right.
Anticipatory thrower is throwing it right before you come out of your break, right? Man, this way, and boom, that ball is gone. The sight thrower, locks in and then waits for you to come out of your break. And when your eyes turn to him and look at him, he's like, okay, now he sees me. I see him. Sight throwing. Let me throw it to him. Well, you know who else sees you? The DB. He sees you. Everybody on the defense sees you. And that's why you get, I don't care how big time your arm talent is, that's where you get DBs that get a jump. And let me just say this, like when you throw the ball that way, a completion becomes a tip away incompletion when you're a sight thrower like that. And an incompletion tip away becomes a pick six interception, right? When you're a little bit late with the ball because you're waiting for that wide receiver to turn around and eyeball you, that's the difference between incompletions and pick sixes and all those things. So that's the Daniel Jones experiment. And even with that, he's better than Anthony Richardson.
Okay. Jaden Daniels is pretty good. Now, that's a quarterback drafted high that looks to be legit. And the word coming out of Washington camp this week is that they really, Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, very bullish on the idea that he's going to be able to make an even bigger leap in year two. A lot of times with these quarterbacks, we talk a lot about the possibility of a regression, that sophomore slump in year two. Is Jaden Daniels, in your opinion, is this a guy that's just immune from that, and it's just simply a question of how big of a jump he makes in year two?
I watched him I called a game of his in week 2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the jump he made from week 1 to week 2 was huge. And he did that throughout the consistency of the season. I get a lot of, and I hear this a lot. And so it made me think about it, Mike. I hear this from just pundits around the National Football League. The reason that guys have sophomore slumps is because defensive coordinators get to dig into you. They get to understand your strengths versus your weaknesses, and they put a better game plan together.
There's a book out on you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a book out on you. And I think ultimately, Mike, I think that is very much secondary to what I think actually happens.
Okay.
I think from your rookie year to your second year, your own coaches pile a lot more shit on your plate.
Okay.
So ultimately, when you're a rookie and coaches know that, hey, man, like your head's swimming and there's a lot of stuff, that you're thinking about, let's make sure we pare this menu down. Let's make sure that everything that we do is something that you feel really comfortable with. And let's keep it simple, stupid. Let's make it as easy as possible. And the first game I ever started, I think about the game plan for the first game I ever started. I think we carried the ball 52 times or 53 times in that game, right? We had myself, we had another guy by the name of Ray Brown, a bunch of young guys that were getting to start up front, protecting Doug Williams. How are you going to do that, right? Let's not throw the ball a lot. Let's run the snot out of the ball. Let's shorten the game. Let's, those are the things you think about and do as a coach. You mitigate first your own weaknesses. Coaches have a tendency to want to be, mad scientists, right? So, hey, we got all this stuff done this year. Let's pile a whole lot more crap on this guy's plate because we think you can handle it. And then all of a sudden, all the things that you did really well, you're not really practicing those things as much because you've got so many other things that you're putting on a guy's plate that you get a little bit bogged down in year 2. It's not so much that coordinators catch up to you because the way the NFL season works, after 4 games of tape, like you've got a book on a guy, right? You see what he does, you see what he does well, and every week or every time you play, you're really breaking down as a coaching staff the last 4 games, and then the next 4 and the next 4. So I don't really think it's all of a sudden at the end of the season they do they create this dossier on you and say, hey, man, this is what this kid is. This is what he can't do. I think they already have most of that. So I really think it's that your own coaches start piling more stuff on you and you get a little bit slower in your processing ability because you've got so much more stuff on your plate. And so I think that's the key. The cool thing about Jaden Daniels is there's a lot of that offense under Cliff Kingsbury that you can run the RPO game. You can run, you can run some of that zone read game. He becomes part of your run game. So in a lot of that stuff, there is a natural keep it simple, stupid process that's built into it, right? Hey, listen, if the D end pinches, pull the ball and throw the slant, right? If the D end feathers out, hand the ball off. You're reading one guy. Hey, man, in this RPO game, we're reading the second level defender. If he sucks down on the run fake, we're throwing the slant or the glance right behind him, right? So wherever that guy is, if that linebacker drops back, then hand the ball off. If he sucks up in, then throw that little hole back there, right? Yep. And so there's a lot of one read progression stuff that you can get into in that offense. Now, he's got the entirety of the offense, and it's kind of this combination, like a lot of football is nowadays, of that kind of collegiate RPO aspect of the run game / pass game to the natural NFL progressions. He does it all exceptionally well, but I think there is enough of that you can get into if things bog down a little bit, that you can get back into a rhythm based on his athleticism, ability to run the ball, and the RPO type game.
All right, so we'll see what happens. What's in store for Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Who am I leaving out? Well, JJ McCarthy's got his first go around,
right? JJ McCarthy, you got Cam Ward this season, right? This season as a rookie. So whether any of the guys in Cleveland, whether it's Gabriel, whether it's Shedeur Sanders takes off. Who was the other quarterback drafted? Wasn't there one more quarterback drafted in the first round?
Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart. Yeah, I think Jackson Dart's going to start week 1.
Yeah, you said that. You said that on a different.
You know what I saw? This is just going to go on, and all you Rusties can get on me. But here's a guy in year 14. And so on my TV show today, we've got file video of Giants practice. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
7-on-7.
Yep.
What did I see? 7-on-7.
Was he scrambling?
He pulled the ball, took off, and scrambled.
I remember Tim Tebow would do that here. And the fans would go crazy.
Blood boiled on television today. Dude, you're year 14.
Yeah, exactly. Tebow was a rookie or something. Yeah, we'll
let me just say this. Shove one out there that only your receiver has a chance. It may be an incompletion, but who gives a crap? Are you really so insecure that you're counting your completions versus your incompletions in practice? Shove one into a team meeting and see if you can make a big play. Are you really really that concerned about my completion percentage in 7-on-7? This is why you're not a starting quarterback.
I have to explain something, okay? I have to explain something to all of you out there watching who are just like, where does this Russell Wilson vitriol come from? Folks, you have to understand, here in Denver, Russ did us dirty, man. I mean, the 2-year Russell Wilson experience was bad.
Dude, and then to have to listen to people go, look at his statistics are just as good as Patrick Mahomes. and you know what? It's really more. I'm taking it out on Russ, but I'm really more mad at me because let me show you. This is me, right? Yeah. And this is Russell Wilson, and this is what happened.
Yeah, we did. That's the thing.
Hook, line, and sinker, man. I was like, yeah, we got Russ. We're going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Oh, my gosh. And then it was just a absolute shit show.
I mean, I've got to let people know. You have to know, if you weren't here in Denver, this is so laughable. This is God's honest truth. We literally, in the aftermath of the Russell Wilson trade, we were so giddy. We were having, this was a serious conversation, totally serious conversation. We were asking, how many Super Bowls do they have to win to justify what they gave up to get him? No joke.
No.
How many, plural, how many Super Bowls do they have to win with Russ to justify the trade? Is it 1? Yeah. Is it 2?
I think if we get 2 world championships, that pretty much oh my God. I can't. Seriously. I'm really mad at, listen.
Yeah, no, it's our fault.
Truth be told, I'm mad at myself.
Yeah.
I'm mad at myself. But, and I should be more mature. I shouldn't take it out on Russ. That's on me. It's 100% on me. I'm putting my hand up.
Don't point the finger. Pull the thumb.
Guilty as charged.
But you got to understand, folks. There was a lot. I mean,
all my Seattle buddies and all the guys I went to college with are from Seattle. They're just laughing at me. Oh my God, you guys now you have to deal with it. You have to, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? All you guys did
sour grapes. Sour grapes. You guys get sour grapes. He's ours now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a little bit quirky. I get it, but who isn't a little bit quirky?
Right.
All the justifications I made. I'm mad at. Hey, you're not mad at me. You're mad at your father. I'm mad at me. I'm mad at me. So every time
that's where it comes from, folks. That's where it comes from.
Yeah. So I'm actively rooting against him. Kind of I am.
There is some truth there. There is some truth there.
I've got to, you know what, people, I got to grow up. It hasn't happened yet.
No.
But I'm still hopeful. I am still hopeful that at some point I'm going to grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. There
Probably
you go.
the same time we sell this podcast.
There you
go. For all of those.
Right here. Put it right here.
All those involved, we thank you so much for paying attention. Thanks for being a part of our day. And we'll be back with you guys next week.